Hello and welcome to Soul Infused Monday. Hello, 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 hello. If you're watching the replay right now, right here, leave a comment below, say hello so that I know you're there. And if you're live here on the show, sorry, it's so windy right now, my papers are flying away. Say hello as well. It always takes a few moments, I know that. So let me know how you're doing today. I invite you, as we are waiting for other people to join in, you and me are already here live or on the replay. It's just you and me. And I invite you right now to take a nice deep breath, to allow yourself to become present. So remove any distractions you might have, switch off your phone or mute your phone, close off any other windows, emails, take a few deep breaths. Come present in this very moment and allow yourself to be present so that you can get the best out of it. And also to connect with yourself. And I'm also inviting you, and hello if you're just joining in. People are just jumping in. Leave me a comment below so I know that you're here. And I just said, take a nice deep breath, remove any distractions, and tune in for a moment. Tune in right this moment, not a moment before, not maybe a moment later, not yesterday, or not an hour ago, right now, right here. And come up with one word to describe your state of being right now. Whatever that is, without judgment, just come up with one word and share it with me. One word: happy, sad, joyful, afraid, overwhelmed, relaxed, in flow, stuck, whatever that one word is. But take a moment to really reflect in. This is my new apartment. Yes, Lisa, thank you for asking. And I hope, let me know if it's not too hot. It is so freaking hot right now here. It is the hottest month of the year. Like, it's so hot. I have everything open, so it's kind of like a little bit windy and noisy, but I don't think you guys hear that actually. So welcome from my new apartment. Hello, Darlene. Hi, Melissa. I love it. You love it. Thank you, Lisa. Who else is here? Tina. So think of one word. Take a deep breath right now. You and me. Find one word to describe your state of being right now. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just one word. And why am I doing this? For several reasons. First of all, I'm doing this for you. So the more you are connecting with yourself, the more you are actually going to get out of this. And it's to become present, because we're often so disconnected and doing 500 things at the same time, and therefore we don't do anything really. So, and also to be more clear on how are you really feeling, because often we kind of, it's too vague. And I'm going to talk about depression today again. I know it's such a heavy topic for so many, and yet I want to be really open about it and really define depression and really help those. And there's so many out there, and I've gotten so many messages from my last Soul Infused Monday, and I keep hearing, thank you for being open, thank you for bringing this up in conversation. There's so many people who are so lonely with this, and it affects so many people constantly, and we are not even aware of it. So it doesn't have to be heavy to talk about it. So I want to open up the conversation, because there's really a way of using depression also for your well-being, for the good. So I'm going to talk about this more. And coming back to the question to you, to really tune in and find one word, is to be more specific. And I'm going to dive into that a little bit deeper. I just wanted to get you in here. So who is in here? Hello. Mike is clear, content. Lisa is anxious. Darlene is overwhelmed. Hey, Tina's in my home country, Spain. Hello. Hola, España. And Tina is feeling heavy. Yeah. First of all, thank you for sharing and being honest. And it's mainly for you to just, and for any of you, you just posted it. And if you just tuned in and you didn't post it, but you have a word in mind, or you're watching the replay and you're doing it right now, take a breath and just be okay with that. Just be okay with being heavy, being anxious, being content, being overwhelmed, whatever it is. Just give yourself space to be with that. And imagine for a moment you wouldn't judge it. There would be no judgment. There would be no judgment. How would that be? Let's see. Good morning, Sonia, watching from Colorado. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Alyssa. Alyssa is in pain. Yes, so and be okay with that. Take a breath, and then let's dive into the topic. I was talking about depression, and I want to, before I even dive deeper into this topic, and listen up, this is super important. Here's a disclaimer, okay? I am not a clinical psychologist. I am not a doctor. So anything I'm sharing, and when I speak about depression, I speak it out of my own experience with myself, with my clients, with the things that I've been doing. I'm not telling you to listen to me and do what I tell you to do. You are 100% responsible for your own life. And also consider that I've been doing deeper inner work for now 22 years. And even when I still have my moments when depression knocks on my door and comes out, I trust myself 100%. I know what to do. And even though when I'm in pain, I am not worried and I am not in danger, or if I would need deeper help, I know where to go. So I'm just saying that out of, because I have to say it, by the way, and also to make it very clear that what I'm sharing is my personal experience that has helped me and has helped others, but what you do with the information is really up to you, and you're responsible for your own well-being. So some of the things that I might share might not work for you, then disregard them. Some of the things that you might not like to hear, just don't listen to them. And some of them you might want to experiment with, and they might be valuable for you. But you might want to also speak with your doctor, whoever is in your realm of supporting you if you are actually going through depression. Okay, so that's super important. I want to just put that out there. Hi, Debbie. So good to see you. Fantastic. So, I want to redefine it a little bit, because I've been going through so-called depression, and I'm using the word just because it's out there. I don't like labeling things, and for me personally, it's not a disease. I want to be very clear. It is a dis-ease, obviously, because it feels uncomfortable, but it's not a sickness for me personally. Right? And there are many ways to approaching it. And I have done so many things over the 20 plus years. And I want to share a little bit what works for me, what has worked for me. And maybe that helps you too. And also use to bring that up in a different way, because it's the same with addiction and other really shameful things, that one of the biggest pain points is when we are going through depression is that we are often feeling very alone. We feel unlovable, we feel disconnected, and we feel ashamed. And what we create is even more isolation. So we are already isolated, we feel already alone, we feel already disconnected. And because of the shame and the pain, we tend to hide. And through the hiding mechanism, we create even more isolation. And that even enhances all those feelings that we try to escape in the first place. Does that make sense? Can you resonate with that? I mean, can you relate? And maybe you know someone who goes through that. So, and I know what it means, because it's not easy to reach out and to share and be open when we are in those states. And I know it because I've been there. I want to be very clear. I'm not talking about anything that I have not experienced personally myself. I know how it is to wake up in the morning and do not want to get up, not wanting to be alive, not caring about anything, being so, you just want to put the blanket on top of your head and you do not want to get up and face the world. So I know what that is like. And I'm just really scratching the surface here, right? So why do I want to bring it up? And it doesn't matter if you're depressed right now or not, but there are certain things that I'm doing differently this time, and it's my own personal journey. And again, remember where I come from, my resources and who I am. So you might be a totally different person. So some of the things might not relate to you. The first thing that I want to bring up as a little bit of an inspiration, or to look at it in a different way. What if, first of all, we put judgment aside? What if there wouldn't be a judgment? There would be a feeling. And often we judge the feelings that come up with it, and we think we should be different. So you going through a certain emotion, experience, or depression, or let's call it that, whatever that means to you, does not change to who you are being. You're having an experience, but often when we are in depression, it takes over and we think, oh my God, something is wrong with me. I'm never gonna get out of there. It seems like this big hole that is gonna swallow us alive and we don't see light in the tunnel, right? That's when we're in it. And often it's really the judgment that we should be different or that something is wrong with us that keeps us more there, and the hiding and the isolation. So even though I know it's not easy, one of the things that have made the biggest difference for me, and I'm just going to share a few things. Obviously, I cannot share everything I've done over the last 20 years in 10 more minutes, but I'm going to try, is to use those moments instead of seeing it as, oh my God, this is happening to me again. What is wrong with me? I shouldn't have this anymore. What if you use it as an opportunity for healing and as an opportunity for self-love, compassion, acceptance, and growth and expansion? Because to be honest, like without over the years, every couple of years, you know, when something comes up and I use it, it takes me to a different level. So I trust and I know. And as you know, trusting is not, I tell you what real trust is for me. Trusting is not, oh, you know it's gonna be fine. Trusting is that you don't know the fuck what's gonna happen and you trust anyway. That's trust. Because if trust would be that we know, it wouldn't be trust anymore. It would be knowing, right? So it's really that unshakable trust, even when you're in it, and you find those moments when you can be okay and in acceptance, okay? Also, one of the things that is very helpful, and you might want to experiment with this, when I am in a depressed state, often when I observe my thoughts, one of the thoughts that I was having a lot in my mind was, I'm so depressed. I'm so depressed. I'm so depressed. So I was hearing me saying that. And I was like, okay, yeah, of course. Yeah, I know. And then what I started to do, and that's valuable even without, for anything, that doesn't have to be depression, but I was being more specific. And you want to maybe list down the most common emotions, because they're not that many. But instead of saying, oh, I'm so depressed, I was tuning in and I was reframing it and being more specific. Because depressed can be anything. It's just like a lid on something, and it feels like it gives that blanket of hopelessness. So I was tuning in, and then I was saying, instead, I'm so depressed, I was saying, I feel lonely. And I took a breath and I was holding the space for, hey, I'm actually feeling lonely. Or maybe it was sadness, like I feel sad. And even if sometimes it's similar, but there's a difference between you being with an emotion and saying, I am sad, or I am lonely, or I'm anxious, versus I'm depressed. Depressed is just like raw, right? And here you can be more specific, and then you can tune in and you can dig deeper why that might be, and hold the space for it. Does that make sense? So when you have those moments and you are in that thought pattern, be aware of it, with acceptance, and tune deeper in. And some of the most common emotions I encounter within myself or others is feeling lonely, disconnected. It often is related with loneliness, sadness, grief, sadness, fear, anxiety. Depression often underneath is anger. You often don't feel the anger when you are depressed, because depression puts a blanket on it, and it's a way of not dealing, therefore dealing with anger. So often depression has a lot of unresolved anger. So maybe even to check in, am I maybe angry actually? Am I sad? Am I lonely? To be more specific, this can be super, super helpful. And if you have any specific questions, by the way, please leave me a comment below. I just want to see here. Hearts, wow, this is totally you, okay? Okay, it's resonating, great. Let me know if this is valuable to you, okay? And if you have any questions around it. So that's one thing you can do, be more specific. Also, instead of trying to judge it, get rid of it because something is broken, what if you allow yourself to go through it, knowing it's like a wave that hits us sometimes. I use sometimes the ocean as an example. And sometimes the ocean is beautiful and calm and there are nice waves. And sometimes when a hurricane, for example, hurricane just, hit the Bahamas pretty bad. And we were in the line, nothing happened here, but it affected me as well because I'm very sensitive and I'm very connected to the matrix. And part of what I'm going through actually with depression has to do with that because it gets triggered in a lot of people and I'm just very sensitive. Last time that happened was when I went through the Hurricane Irma, when I was in the hurricane. So it's like the storm, and you can imagine how wild and freaked out and the waves are in the ocean when there's a storm. And when you're in it, you feel like you're drowning, you feel like you're knocked over, you're afraid of your life, you think, oh my God. And at some point, the ocean will be calm again. That's my experience also with depression or any, challenging things in your life. So remind yourself that you've been there before and you're going to be fine. Just sometimes those thoughts, but without having to get rid of it or judgment. Okay, I have to take a sip of water. Guys, let me know, is this landing? Does this make sense? Pedro is saying, fits with what I was thinking this morning. It's just how my body feels, being aware. Yeah, great, fantastic. So another thing I did not too long ago that I find very helpful is because often when we are in so depressed moments, we are ashamed and we don't want to be seen and we often feel unlovable, right? I mean, at least for me and in my experience, and I've spoken to hundreds of people over the years that went through depression that felt very similar. Something that you can do, and you can even do that when you are in the dumpster and you don't want to do it, and you can do it by yourself, but it takes just a piece of paper and a pen. Take a piece of paper and a pen and write down and think of the people you love in your life and just write them down. You just write down, think of friends, family, whoever you love, even though sometimes you feel so disconnected, but there's no, you can't lie yourself out of it. And then the other thing is, make another list and think of people who love you. And there's always people who love you. Like you are loved. You are loved right here, right now. If you're depressed or not, if you're happy, if you're sad, if you're in Timbuktu or in the bathtub, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You are loved right here, right now. And sometimes we get to remind ourselves the people that love us and support and care for us. So you can even do that if you're happy because it's such a beautiful exercise. And often what depression does, and this is the good thing about depression for me, it takes you to just such a deep and painful place that you are actually reconnecting to what's really important, if you use it, right? And again, you're responsible for this, and it's about how you approach it, and if this resonates, great, and if you think that is not valuable for you, just put it aside, right? You don't have to believe everything I say. You're loved back, Sonia. Thank you, Charisma. Yeah, I know, I'm very loved. Like I did this myself not too long ago, right? So you write down anyone you think of, and you can put me on the list too, because I love you. I love you, and that's the reason I'm here and talking about this. Because I think love is such an important piece for us, for our healing. And often we just need to hear we're not alone and someone holding the space for us when we are not seeing our own light. So write everybody down. And there's always someone. It doesn't matter if they're in your life right now. It doesn't matter if you've spoken to them in a long time. I tuned in and I wrote down all the people in my life that I know love me. And then connect to gratitude. And in the past, that's why I know it takes time, depending on where you are right now, you are in the right spot where you're right now. But it took me many years to get to a point where I could embrace everything at the same time. I can be depressed and I can be grateful at the same time. And I am so grateful. I have so much, I'm privileged. So are you, by the way. I'm blessed and so are you. And at the same time, you can still go through a deep pain, depression, anxiety, overwhelm, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be black and white. And you do not have to wait until you go there to let go of that. No, you are everything and anything. Gratitude, genuine gratitude takes time. So fake it until you make it if you want to. But I have days, and I do this often, even when I feel good. Like, I don't always do that just when I go through something painful. However, it's most valuable when I do it, or it helps a lot when I do it when I'm actually really in a dark place. That I wouldn't even call it a dark place anymore, because it's the place that gets me to the next level of light, if that makes sense. Before I even go out to bed, I am grateful about certain things, and they are the most basic things. And I've said this many times, and I will repeat this again and again and again. Because when we are deeply sick, or when we are going through something painful, and I remember last time, food poisoning, or I was so sick that I couldn't breathe through my mouth. When I was this trip when I was in Roatan this year, I got an invasion of insects that kept my skin. I had like hundreds of bites, and I was freaking out. I couldn't sleep for days. It was itching. I was scratching my skin up. And in that moment, the only thing I wanted is that the itchiness goes away. So while I'm sharing these things, we all have these moments where the only thing we wish for is to be healthy, or to be able to breathe, or to not be itchy, or whatever. Or when I was having that food poisoning, oh my God, I would have given anything to not be so nauseous, and nearly I felt I was dying on the couch. So in the morning when I wake up, no matter how I feel, and the first thought is always what's not okay, because that's how we're conditioned. It's energy follows attention, and I say this a lot, energy follows attention. First thing in the morning, before I even get up, I am grateful that I have legs and feet, that I can get up and walk, that I'm not nauseous, that I can actually breathe through my nose, that I am able to see what's around me, that I have eyes to see, that I'm actually hearing. How often are you actually grateful for the fact that you're actually able to hear? I'm sure not so many, unless I woke up one time and one ear was like blocked, and I was like, holy shit, why is that? And I was like, wow, how grateful am I that I can actually hear? Whatever it is for you, how grateful that I have running water, that I have fresh water to drink. Not everybody has that, by the way. We are privileged. Okay, I think I made my point. And one other thing, and that takes more depending on where you are on the journey, but one of the biggest difference that it's making, and even though it's also one of the more challenging, and that comes with doing the work, expanding, and being able to deal with things in a better way, share and be honest and open about it. Stop hiding. Stop hiding. And open up to someone and ask for help. And you have those people in your life, and if you don't have them, make sure you create them. You are the creator, So don't go into blaming or, oh, poor me, I don't have these people. And I know this feeling. I'm not judging this. I've been there. But be honest and share with people that can hold the space. People usually are that have been there, that don't judge you and don't want to fix you, okay? One of the things that I personally don't like and don't appreciate, and I'm very clear of asking for what I need when I'm in something, is when I say, oh, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. It's like, no, I'm not sorry. I'm good. What I need from you is that I can share it, and you say, yeah, I'm holding the space for you. I hear you. Yeah. And you see me as capable. So that's what you need too. Because you are capable. You sometimes feel lost. You sometimes lose connection. You sometimes forget who you are. Or maybe you haven't rediscovered yet who you are. And you being depressed, so to say, does not make a difference of who you are. It's an experience that you're going through. And it's an experience that I'm going through. And it's an experience that so many people go through, they're just don't open, they don't share about it. It's like with alcoholism. They have the anonymous alcohol, they meet for that. Maybe, I don't even know if there's a group for this as well. I'm sure there's some. But what if you're open and honest about it? And I know it's scary and shameful sometimes. A week ago, I had an appointment, a business appointment, not in person, but like a meeting. And so this person reached out to me. It's like, hey, Sonia, I want to check in if our appointment is still okay for later. And I was tuning in, and I didn't feel up for it. I didn't feel like it. It wasn't something really important or urgent, but it was something that I wanted to explore for my business. And instead of coming up with an excuse that we usually would do, I said to her, thank you for checking in. So I'm not feeling too well today, and I'm going through depression today, and I would rather not have a call today. That is the truth. I mean, I was like, oh my, I don't know what this person is gonna say, but it felt good to me to be honest. It felt good to me to be just honest without pretending or hiding. And she was very nice. She was like, hey, I totally understand, whenever, let's just reschedule. And it felt so much better than coming up with a lie or an excuse and being honest about it. So one of the things that I really invite you to do is to first be honest with yourself, be specific. What are you going through? What's the emotion? Separate that from who you are, because it's just an experience. It's not all of you. And you can have joy and pain at the same time, at the same day, in a moment here. It's not about only this is good and this is bad. No, nothing is good and bad. Everything is. So embrace it. Embrace the journey. And what if you would look into it with different eyes? Whatever that's for you, whatever the difference is. But if what you've done in the past hasn't really worked, so why don't do something different? Approach it different. Approach it with love. Approach it with acceptance. Approach it with curiosity. And then be open and honest and real about it, because I think that's how we support each other in the world, and that's the reason why I'm sharing these themes too. And I hope they're valuable to you. Okay, good. I want to share one more quick thing. I know this is longer than usual, but it is what it is. Yes. Okay, it's valuable. I'm very grateful for the people I can turn to and be honest. Yes, Lisa, that's worth more than anything. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if it comes to what's really basic and important, nothing is really like money, possessions, whatever. It's like if you don't have deep, good friends, and I think the level of friends you have is a reflection of who you are being as a friend. That's what I allowed myself to experience last time I did this exercise. I wrote down the friends I have that I've been on the path with, people that I've been doing the deeper inner work with me for over 20 years, friends, just my closest, deepest friends, and people that when I had the list of all the people that love me, and I was like, wow, how blessed I am to have these incredible people in my life. And then I was asking, what does it say about me? And think about that. If you have amazing people in your life, what does this say about you? And if people love you, what does this say about you? Does this make sense? So it says that you're loved and that you are going through an experience and that you're not alone. So what I want to share to at the end, because there's so much more I could share, like I could talk about this forever. I made a post the other day asking for one word to convey the opposite of depression. And I'm very much about the energy of words and to be specific. And I was also curious, right? Because depression is just a label. What does this mean to begin with? And what's on the other side? What's on the other side? And besides of the usual, like happiness happiness and joy were the two main words that I got. But I got so many good words, and I want to read them out loud to you, because that's what you can do too when you are in a state of something that is uncomfortable. You bring the opposite in, not to get rid of that or judge that, but just to even things out. For example, when I'm sometimes sitting and I think I'm stuck, just come up with this. then I immediately also say, I'm in flow. I am afraid. For me, it's like, I am relaxed. I am sad. I am joyful. I am, like, just to have both there, because it's helpful. Because if you only stay in one side, you bring yourself deeper down into it. So I'm going to give you some uplifting words that I find, or there's a lot of words. I'm not going to read all of them. It would take me like 10 minutes here. But I love these words, and I want to give you them because that's on the other side of depression. That's on the other side of depression. Why don't you use depression to experience this too? So for the people in my community, this is what the opposite is of depression. Maybe I'm sure that your word is here too. Aliveness, balance, bliss, clarity, connection, contentment, courage, energy, enthusiasm, excitement, expansion, expression, freedom. It's one of my favorite, by the way. Freedom, happiness, gratitude, hope, music. For someone who was music, I like that. Openness, peace. And listen to these words and listen to the vibration. Just repeating these words. I'm doing this because it rises the vibration. Relief, serenity, vitality, blissfulness, exuberance, elation. I hope I said that right. Being well, aliveness. Yes. So these are the main. I have more, but I want to bring this to a close. I know this was a longer show than usual. Please do me a favor, leave a comment below and share with me what is one thing you're taking out of this show today that is valuable to you. What is the most important, what's the most valuable thing you're getting out of this show today? And leave a comment below. And if you don't dare to put it in public for whatever reason that I totally respect, send me a message. What's one thing that is super valuable that you're taking out of this today? And then share this show with someone that might go through a difficult time, or that you know is struggling with depression, or just needs to hear that they're not alone in their love, because you are loved. You are loved in this very moment, no matter what. And there's something to be grateful for in this very moment, no matter what. And it doesn't mean that this no matter what can be there too. But just remember that, okay? I love you. I'm grateful that you've been here with me today, live and on the replay. And I hope I see you next Monday again for another new episode. And take a breath, embrace the journey, accept what is, and I will see you soon. Much love.